Good morning. I'm Debbie Conister. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm going to show you a really cute little calendar drawer box that I created and walk you through how to create it. You will find all the instructions at stampwithdeb.com, and they're not on there yet, but they will be once I'm done with this video. So let's get started. Some of my team members have already made this little box, and the rest of you are invited to do it. So I'm going to start with the top. Okay, so I cut a 2 by, okay, where's my other piece? Here it is. I cut a piece of 4 by 6 chipboard, and this is the board that comes in the back of our paper, and like the window sheets or in some of the heavier glitter paper and stuff. Okay, so I cut a piece of that, and I am going to do this with you. So I'm going to use my scoring board, and you can see I've already done one of them, and I'm going to score at 3/4 inch on each edge. So this is cut at 5 9/16 by 7 9/16. And then I'm just scoring at 3/4 inch on each edge. That gives that 1/16 of an inch is, you need it. It gives you a little bit of grace in there when you're wrapping it around. Okay. And then I'm going to trim my corners. So when I trim my corners, I want to leave about about 1/8 of an inch on each corner. So I'm just going to trim those at a diagonal, leaving 1/8 of an inch, like so. And we'll toss those. Okay, then I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to just fold these lines. Not really worried about burnishing at this point. If you really want to, you could. It's pretty easy to do, right? Okay, so, and then I'm going to use the mono adhesive liquid glue. And I am going to put that on my board here. Come on, work for me this morning, Lou. You see that? That's why it didn't work. It had dried up inside. I just used this last night. I was working until 9:30 last night and was using it, so I don't know why it dried up so quickly. It had the lid on it all night. And I'm just going to glue that inside those score lines. And then I'm going to use our Stampin' Seal and add some around here. And just fold those over. I like to fold the opposite ones over, one and then the other. And then I'm going to take my bone folder, and I'm just going to crease this right here, just to smash it down so that I get a nice fold there. And then I have a little adhesive hanging over here, so let's pull that to the inside. So then I like to take my bone folder and just press it down. I want a really good seal here. Got a little bit of odd one here, but we're going to just leave it alone. Okay, so now I have 2 of those, and that's what you need. And then oh, you guys want to see what you're making, huh? A calendar goes right here. I ran out of calendars. So a calendar would go there, and of course not with this, with the blue outline. And then it stands up just like that. Is that adorable? And then the drawer pulls out. So that's what we're making. Only though we're doing it out of a different paper. That is the bird paper. It is free with a $50 purchase, a minimum $50 purchase. So now I'm going to create the sleeve and the drawer. So this is a sleeve, and I've already cut one of these. So on one of them, I cut out both corners. On the other one, I'm just going to, first let's score it. let's tell you what I've got here. I've got a piece that is 4 3/4 by 7 3/4, and it's scored at 1 inch on each of the sides. No, on 1 inch on 3 of the sides. So this side's going to be our open side where we're going to slide our drawer in, so we don't want it there. And there. So the other one I scored exactly the same, but I cut the corners out, this little corner down here. On this one, I'm not going to cut them out. I'm just going to cut them at an angle on both ends. Okay. So for the sleeve, this is where our drawer is going to slide in and out. We're going to burnish this one because we want nice sharp lines. And let's get that little flap. Okay. So I'm going to adhere this, and you want to make sure that the side that has the flaps is on the outside. I'm going to adhere this to here, and I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus, and just line it up like that. And I'm just lining up those score lines, and that should line up perfectly in there. And it didn't. I went over a little bit on the top section here. Okay, we're going to leave it alone, or we'll have problems. Bigger problems. Okay, so I'm just going to crease that real good. Okay, now when I fold this over, I want to make sure that this one goes over top of this one. And I'm just going to line that up because I messed up on my first side there. It's going to be a little cattywampus. So we want to try to straighten that out as much as we can. Don't do what I did. Line it up perfect. Okay. And we're just going to fold this over onto here. And there we are. Okay. Crease that. All right, now for the back. I don't want these little tabs on the inside. Normally we tuck them in like that. Don't want them in there. So I'm going to put some adhesive on those little tabs. First, let me bend this backwards here so I can get to those. And I'm going to put some adhesive on the inside of those two little tabs. And this is going to be my bottom because my folds are here nice and neat. So this is going to be the bottom of my box. So I'm going to put fold in the bottom of my box first. Put my tabs in. And then I'm going to go inside my box with my bone folder and press those down. So I want my tabs in between the two layers of the box, the flaps here. Now I can put some adhesive on here and close that up. And we have a nice little box, right? That is open in the front. Okay. This is going to get attached to these two pieces. So I am going to use my glue. And this is my bottom. Lots of glue on here. And I want to make sure I go as close to the edges as possible. Okay. So this is going to go on here. And I'm just going to lay it on there and press it down. I have an opening here to help me with that. I need to move it back a little bit. Oops. That's why I like the green glue, because I can adjust it and move it just a little bit and then press it down. Okay, and then I'm going to attach my top. Same way. Some glue here. And I can flip this over and put it on there. Now, I like to do this before it gets too set, is stand it up, make sure that it's even on all four sides. And then I can press that down. Okay, now for the drawer. The drawer is super tricky, but it's only tricky in the scoring, okay? That's the part that gets me every time. I could have covered these with the paper before I put it together. It's a nice strong box. You hear that? It's got a nice sturdiness to it. Okay, so the drawer is cut at 7.5 by 7 5/8. This is the tricky part, is the scoring. So this is my 7 5/8 inch side. On the 7 5/8 inch side, let me grab my scoring board here again. I'm going to score at 1 inch. And this is the 7 5/8 inch side over here. Okay, and then turn it around and do 1 inch. Now for the 7.5 inch side, which are these two, see I'm 7.5 here, I'm going to score at 1 inch and 2 inches. And then I'm going to turn it around. This is the best way to do it because if there's any excess, it goes into the drawer rather than, and that's usually where you want it. And this is 1 inch and 2 inches. So you're better when you're scoring these things to flip them so the excess goes in the drawer instead of you ending up with one side lopsided. Okay, now I'm going to turn this so that this is this is my 1 inch and my 2 inch line, and I'm going to cut up the 1 inch here. Cut this off. And then cut these. And I'm going to do that on each corner. I'm also going to give this just a little bit of a trim. So when it folds inside, it doesn't pull. Same thing here. Or I could do my little trim here. And then go straight up. Cut off that bottom piece, bottom square, and then cut this at an angle. I have the shakes this morning, guys. I'm sorry. I haven't finished my coffee this morning. I started it. It's sitting over there. So, oops, I forgot to trim that first, this one here. And I'm just cutting off just the slightest little bit. See, that is all I'm cutting off. And then cut across here. And I'm cutting right above that fold because I want it a little shorter so that when it folds in, it goes in nice. I don't want to have to fight with it. Okay, last one. And I didn't cut that. I have a tendency not to, and then have to go back and do it. Obviously. Okay. And then that. And that. I guess it's springtime. It's not springtime. It's actually raining outside. It stopped for a while, it looks like. But we've had a lot of rain in the last couple of days in California, here in Sacramento. So it doesn't feel like spring at all. It feels like winter. But I'm ready for spring. Winter's okay. I can handle winter. Winter is. So I'm just going to burnish all these lines, these score lines. I want to burnish every one of them because I want this to be a nice, crisp drawer. But summer is what kills me. I can't do summer. Summer is too hot. I could just stay inside. Winter, I can put a coat on and go out. If I even need a coat. Most of the time I don't. Okay, so now we're going to create our drawer. Whoops. Okay. So this is folded over twice just to give the drawer extra strength on these edges. So let's start with, I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to put some adhesive on all these tabs. Let's turn it around and do it. Okay. And then I'm just going to fold those in. Now I want my corners to be really crisp. So I'm putting them right together. The edge of the paper goes right into the middle of that score. So it's just a really nice corner. Otherwise, your box will be too big to fit in your opening. So you need to make sure it goes right in there. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to come along and I'm going to put some adhesive along here. And let's go ahead and do the other side. Well, we have to fold that in order to see what we're doing. Okay. And adhesive on the inside of this flap. Come on, you've been working so nice for me. Okay. So there is our little drawer. Okay. Now, I have some papers that I'm going to put on it. So the papers that I'm going to use are one of the papers from the free, one of the free papers. And I wrote down what it is and lost my notes. So this is Springtime's, oh, there they are. I just found them. Let's see if this is them. Sunny Days. Sorry. It's called Sunny Days. And it's a free designer series paper with celebrations. So there's one. They are so pretty. 2, 3. They're kind of springy in some ways. The cherries, that's what we're going to use today. And this little red paper. I love this one, and I would do this one with a white background instead of the red. Okay, and if I flip it over, we have clouds, rainbows, butterflies, and some beautiful prints. And so I love that Stampin' Up! Does prints on one side and just, images on the other. Okay, so this is the paper that we're using. I'm going to use these little cherries. I thought those were cute. So we have here, we're going to put one of these across the front of our drawer, just like that. And this is 7/8 by 5 5/8. And on the drawer, it needs to be a little bit shorter. So I left it long with the understanding that I was going to cut this. Off. I did leave it long. Because it just needs like 1/8 of an inch cut off, so probably 5 1/2. But I can't really tell until I get my drawer made because I don't know why, but every time I do this, it comes out different. Last time I cut it at 5 1/2 and it was too short. I think it's the way it's folded. The drawer is folded. And so if I get it right, it's 5 1/2, which makes sense. It should be 5 1/2. Right? Okay, so the drawer, that's the only one the drawer is going to get. The other papers are going to go on here. So this one is 5 5/8. So that's why I cut them both at 5 5/8, and then I figured I could determine how short that one needed to be. So add some adhesive here. For these little pieces, I always like my glue. It just works better that way. Okay, and let's just check and make sure that I cut this one right. And this is 3 5/8. So this was one of my team projects that we did. We did it with the bird. So now if you're on my team, you will have all the instructions. You'll even have a video to help you walk through. Okay. All right. Now for the top of this, I have cut a 6 by 8. Let's finish our drawer here. Let's make sure our drawer fits, huh? It does. I'm caught on there. There we go. Uh-oh, now I'm caught in there. Okay, let's finish our drawer. Let me grab my crocodile. So if you don't have a crocodile, you can use a hole punch. It's either way. This big old guy, he's been with me for years. When I first started stamping, he was one of my first investments. So, other than the first stamp set I got. So I'm just going to punch a hole right in here in the middle. About the middle. And I did it on the side that has the DSP on it so that it will show. And I have a piece of ribbon here. Why do I have this tied in a bow? I need another piece of ribbon. Let me grab a piece there. Okay. So I have a little piece of ribbon here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it, and I'm going to tie it in a knot. And that's about as long as I want it. Okay. I'm going to trim off this end. Okay, so I have this little knot, and I'm going to feed that through this hole. And there's my little pole. So now when I put my drawer in there, I can pull it out and open it. Otherwise, I'm kind of stuck. Right? Okay, so I have a piece that I cut at 6 by 8, and I've scored it twice. I'm going to make an easel to go on top of this. So I'm going to get my bone folder here. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half again, in a sense. And then I'm going to attach this. You know what? I'm going to use my glue so I can adjust it if I need to. And I'm just going to put some glue around here. You want it good along there. Okay. Fold it in half. Well, sort of. I'm going to lay it on top here. Now you could do this a little smaller if you wanted to and leave a little trim around the edge, but I'm going same color on same color, and so I didn't feel that was necessary. If my box was red and this was going to be white, then I would have, so that you would see that little white edge. Okay, then I have a piece of cherry paper. This is cut at 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, so it's 1/4 of an inch smaller all the way around. I love this little cherry paper. And I know I'm off screen, but I'm just putting glue on my paper. That's going to go right in there. Okay, and then I created a little edge. I used the basic borders die cuts, and I just need a little edge to hold that up when it's sitting there. So I'm just going to, this has to be put on with dimensionals, just so you know. So let's grab some little mini dimensionals since my edge is really tiny. Whoops, I only want one there. And I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to put it everywhere because I want it to stay really well, and I want it to hold my little top up there. Whoops, didn't get that one down. That's about a zillion dimensionals. It's funny, I have never had to buy, I bought dimensionals, these mini dimensionals in the very beginning, and I haven't had to buy them again when they first came out. I guess I bought that many of them. I don't know. I do use them. So I don't know why I don't run out. So, but I don't. Get all these off. If anybody discovers a quick way to get these off, let me know. I spend more time taking these things off as dimensionals than anything else I do. Not really, but it seems like it takes forever, especially when you have this many, and those little things end up everywhere. Let's just I'm going to poke and see if that looks better. I don't know. They're down. They're off. Thank goodness. Okay. That's where you could zoom forward. All right. And then I'm just going to attach this right across here in what looks like a straight line. Okay. So now when this is weighted, it'll come down there. Okay. So I have one more piece of DSP, and I'm going to attach that to this piece of cardstock. The cardstock is 4x6, and I'm going to attach that to my easel. That's where my calendar would go. And like I said, I'm out of calendars. I bought them at Tailored Expressions, and they do, last time I looked, they had them in stock, and that was just a couple days ago. And they're really a good deal. I love those little calendars. They work for so many different things. As a matter of fact, this year I will be doing my calendar, and I will be using those for the calendar this year instead of us having to stamp our own or me having to type it up. Okay, so I'm just going to put some adhesive along the bottom portion here and glue this on. And I want to make sure my cherries are right side up and glue it right to the corner. I want to line those up perfectly. And so when you give it, it looks like a cute little box, right? Just cute little box there. And then I would put my calendar here. That's the size of those calendars, and that's a little 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch piece. And then a little bow here. Now you could put a greeting over here. You could do all kinds of different things on this box. You could not even make it a calendar box. You could just make it a little box and put your grandchildren's pictures in here, or your great-grandchildren's, or whatever you wanted to put in there. That would be really cute. So anyway, that is my project for today. I will get the project sheet is already typed up and ready to go, and I will get this video online. Be sure to join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time for Wake Up Wednesday here on Facebook. And let's see, what else do I need to tell you? So you saw the bird one. There's the two of them side by side. The project sheet is free. You can download it for free for these. And don't forget that celebration only goes on until the end of February. February 29th is the last day of celebration, and that's where both these papers came from, was the celebration. So if you need any help, let me know, and you can go to stampwithdeb.com and place your order. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.